Hey guys, welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the daily show. We give you all the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Leading off the show today is Mark Ellis.
Welcome one and all to the best movie news show in the entire galaxy. My name is Mark. This is a show where we cut the hair and pass the savings on to you. On today's episode, Hellboy has some casting controversy. We got to look at Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Richard Dreyfuss's mashed potatoes are 40 years young. Who's joining me today, Ashley?
Also here is Jon Schnepp.
Man, I just heard I've got a brand new breakfast friend. I can't even speak because I haven't enough coffee. David Griffin, let's go get some breakfast.
Also here, Perri Nemiroff.
Hold on to your butts, guys. It's going to be a really good day. It's going to be a really good night. We have a lot to celebrate today.
Also here, Clarke Wolfe.
Hey, guys. Good to see you.
The celebration that Perri is referring to is our Jurassic Park screening, which is taking place tonight at ArcLight in Hollywood. It is sold out. We are so excited for the Q&A, the Jurassic Park screening, and the Collider crew meet and greet at the upstairs bar afterwards. It all goes down at ArcLight Hollywood tonight. Looking forward to seeing all your smiling faces. And if you weren't able to get a ticket because it is sold out, don't worry. I have a feeling more of these screenings are going to pop up very soon. And if you're curious as to what Jon Schnepp was talking about with breakfast and David Griffin. I've never met anybody who loves hotel breakfast more than David Griffin. And there's a reason why we bring this up, is that we have a lot of East Coast viewers and a lot of East Coast fans. So we're going to be making some New York Comic-Con announcements very soon. But we also wanted to do something nice for our East Coast viewers and run a little experiment. So for the next 2 weeks, starting on Tuesday after Labor Day, Collider Movie Talk is going to go live at 7 a.m. PST. That is 10 a.m. East Coast time for all of you guys in New York and Virginia, in Florida. Everybody in the East Coast gets to check us out at 10 a.m. And we will wake up on time, hopefully, for our pre-production meeting at 6:30 a.m. As it's coming out of my mouth, I can't believe it's true. It's going to be a 2-week experiment. We're going to see how it goes. So Jon Schnepp, 7 a.m. Movie Talk PST. How you feeling?
I'm buying one of those machines. It's a coffee machine that makes the coffee so that it will be prepared for me.
I might need something a little stronger than coffee. Clarke, Perri, do we think we can do the 7 a.m. movie talk?
I mean, I'm a morning person, so my biggest question is if there's a bagel budget. Is there a bagel budget?
A bagel budget and a coffee budget?
I think we can do a bagel budget, a coffee budget, and a whole lot of Red Bull. So we're very excited to try something new here at Movie Talk, and we're looking forward to having all you guys participate in the live chat room bright and early. It's going to stream live at 7 a.m. It's going to live on our YouTube channel, as always, afterwards. So join us live. Join us after you wake up, because we're getting up super early, and it means that there's going to be a coffee budget, there's going to be a bagel budget, and there's going to be a pillow budget, because Mark's going to need his nap as soon as he's done. But I am actually very excited about this. Somebody else excited about it? Ashley Mova, what's our first topic today?
Oh, man. Yesterday, Ed Skrein announced that he would be dropping out of the Hellboy reboot in the wake of an outcry over his casting as Major Ben Daimio, who in the comic books is of Asian descent. The controversy came soon after his casting, with many calling it another example of Hollywood whitewashing a character. After the mounting objections reached his ears, Skrein released a statement saying he would be exiting the role. Here's a small snippet of what he wrote. It is clear that representing this character in a culturally accurate way holds significance for people, and that to neglect this responsibility would continue a worrying tendency to obscure ethnic minority stories and voice in the arts. I feel it is important to honor and respect that. Therefore, I have decided to step down so the role can be cast appropriately. Mark, what do you think about Ed Skrein's decision to drop out of Hellboy?
I think Ed Skrein stepped up. I think that this is a very sensitive issue that people are being enlightened to in the year 2017. We've seen this in the past. Tilda Swinton got a lot of flack when she signed on for the role and in Doctor Strange, and I think that it could be something that is potentially harmful to an actor's career, not necessarily taking on the role, but it's all the aftermath when you have people constantly asking you questions. So I think for personal reasons, Ed Skrein did it smartly, and I also think that politically and socially, this shows that he does have a conscience, and I don't pin a lot of blame on everybody with Hellboy. I think that they wanted to go after Ed Skrein for something, and if it didn't work out there, then that's fine. But I think this is great because it is a white dude who is bringing this to light. I think it's great to have more voices that are saying we need to step up and we need to be better. Maybe it wasn't always the case in Hollywood, but I think right now, with every way that you can communicate with people all around the world, if you have a role like this, you should cast it and be culturally sensitive to the way you cast it. So Ed Skrein, I take my hat off to you, and I didn't get a great haircut, but I step up, and I think that this is something good. Jon Schnepp, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think especially after the aftermath of a film like Ghost in the Shell, I think it's really important for if Hollywood producers aren't going to take note, and then it's cool that actors are. So I think it's empowering everyone who's part of the game of making films and television to step up and be aware of this kind of stuff. So I'm all for it. Thanks to Ed.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see people who, like, this is a very sensitive issue, but this is political and it's social. This is a movie issue too. We're actually talking about movies right now, and I know that sometimes you turn on movie talk, you just want to escape from everything else going on in the world, and you just want to argue about who is the cooler costume, Batman or Iron Man. Movies are very political. Art is very political, and so with a story like this, I can't think of a more appropriate time to talk about it, Clarke. And Ed Skrein, he made a very bold choice. Do you think it was the right one?
I do, and look, representation matters, you know, and I get a lot of flack online for talking about women or talking about, you know, diversity, or a lot of us do on this panel. And the thing that I think is important is that it's not a bad thing to talk about these things. Talking about these things is not inherently overly cautious. It's a real thing that we all have to process. And I love your point, Schnepp, about how if the producers aren't going to take note, and if the bigger Hollywood picture isn't going to take note, yeah, I do think it's up to the actors to say, okay, well, this is my responsibility. And honestly, too, you know, from Ed Skrein's perspective, yes, it would have been probably a big role in a superhero franchise, which is great for him. But at the same time, I mean, the aftermath, knowing, like going into this production, knowing that this was controversial, that would not end well for him. He would constantly have to answer that question over and over and over again. And I think across the board, he put himself on the map. He's a classy guy. He handled this. His statement is so well crafted too. I mean, it doesn't seem like a PR stunt. It seems like he sincerely has thought about this and said, no, this is not the right choice. Now the question is, will the producers cast an Asian person in this role?
Well, they released a joint statement. The producers, Larry Gordon, along with Millennium and Lionsgate, released a statement that said that Ed came to us and felt very strongly about this. We fully support his unselfish decision. It was not our intent to be insensitive to issues of authenticity and ethnicity, and we will look to recast the part with an actor more consistent with the character in the source material. So, Perri, I don't always think that you have to stick exactly to source material when you're casting a role, but I think here it's a pretty obvious no-brainer that you can be socially conscious as well as make a great movie.
No, absolutely. And I think in some cases you should cast to the source material, especially when it comes to ethnicity, because I have not read the Hellboy comics. I imagine that character has something in him that would call for that ethnicity. So I would think they would have to for that reason. I'm thinking back to the Hunger Games when everyone was crying over Katniss's backpack not being the right shade of orange. That's a ridiculous adaptation element to complain about, but I saw some people online saying, oh, Ed Skrein should have known about the ethnicity of the role before he even signed on to begin with. I'm kind of glad he didn't, and he found out after the fact, because by going about it this way and by pulling out of the movie so publicly and releasing this statement, I think he just boxed the producers in. He is forcing them to cast it like it is in the source material, and this is really the only way we're going to see a difference, because if you have people that say to themselves, this makes me a little uncomfortable, but I'm going to suck it up, do the best job I can do, and deal with it however is the most appropriate way to deal with that kind of backlash, we're not going to make any progress. By him coming out saying what he did and putting the producers in this kind of situation, that's going to help start to fix this.
Can I make one more point real fast?
Absolutely.
When, Scott Derrickson gave a great interview to Jen Yamato at the end of the year last year about the casting controversy of The Ancient One. And he truly, he truly was trying to understand and was not defensive in any way. Like, he was like, I realize that this now, what this means, and I want to learn, and I want to engage in this conversation. And I think that's the biggest thing that Ed Skrein did, is he's encouraging people to engage in the conversation, and that is vital.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a white dude. I grew up in the South. I don't know everything about being socially and politically correct, and I think that sometimes people go way too far with it. But I think that sometimes you just have to get off whatever pedestal you're on and just take a breath and listen to other voices and listen to other people talking about it and try not to get upset. Just try to accept the message and incorporate it in your own life and say, yeah, this does make sense. This doesn't make sense. I've had people in my life that have enlightened me to other ways, other cultures, and it's kind of refreshing to have that perspective. So you can have whatever perception of your story that could be true. Just listen to other people's point of view, and I think that we all might be a little bit more enlightened. I know I just told that to the internet, so we'll see how that goes. Let's move on to our next story.
Collider.com has an exclusive short film explaining what happened in the world of Blade Runner between the first movie, set in 2019, and the new sequel, set in 2049. This in-world short takes place in 2036 and revolves around Jared Leto's character Wallace after he introduces a new line of perfected replicants called the Nexus 9, after prohibition in creating the replicants is repealed. The short is directed by Luke Scott and is currently up on Collider.com and Collider Video. Perri, what do you think about the new short from Blade Runner 2049?
I like it. When I first heard that these things were being made, I got a little worried because remember when we got the ones from Alien Covenant? I thought that those were great, but I just never want to be in a position where these early shorts drastically affect your opinion of the movie because not everybody is sitting online and watching these things. So I want everyone to have that same experience. But this is a pretty cool way to start marketing your movie before it comes out. And we have so many decades between the original Blade Runner and the one we're getting. It kind of does make sense for them to explore it this way. And, you know, I obviously have not seen Blade Runner 2049. When the time comes, I might think differently. But right now, based on what I saw in that scene, it's a nice small dose of backstory that I think is just going to get me excited for what's to come in that movie without completely coloring the experience. Thinking back to Covenant, the one that I think bothered me most was the short that took place on the ship where they were all being buddies, because if you didn't see that and then you jumped into the events of Covenant, you had no connection to those characters. But if you did see that, you went into it instantly liking them. It doesn't seem like that's going to be the case here. I imagine this is the kind of material that's going to be brought up in exposition anyway, given the fact that Jared Leto is a main part of this movie. So I'm all for this, and I can't wait to see what the other two are about.
It's a great point you make, because when you make supplemental material like this, you want to walk the line of not alienating the audience that is going to pay to see this movie, that may not do all the other research and watch these shorts, but for the people who do make the investment. And it's so cool, this is a Collider exclusive that you guys can check out on Collider Video's YouTube channel, where we are right now, is that you get to watch this and you just get a little bit more insight. And for somebody who still has not seen Blade Runner, sorry Schnepp, haven't seen the original one, I really found it a little enlightening with what Jared Leto's character might be bringing to the table here. So according to you and some people at Comic-Con, we might get a couple more of these shorts before the movie actually gets released, at which point I will have seen the original Blade Runner.
Hi. Yes. Well, didn't he actually, at the beginning of the intro, he actually says there's 3 shorts, and he had 3 other collaborators that he respected. He gave them these shorts, and this is Ridley Scott's son who directed this one. So I'm looking forward to seeing the other 2. And in Hall H, the Blade Runner presentation was done in this like really giant screen, kind of really cool way, where they're like giving you the dates, and it was very much like the scrolling text from the original Blade Runner, but done in this really kind of a multimedia way. So I'm looking forward to seeing what 2023 and maybe some of the other years that bridge 2019 with 2049. So I think it's a cool way to get people who are excited about the movie to see some of the supplemental material that doesn't have anything really to do except like prehistory stuff, that they'll probably end up still having that little scrolling text at the beginning of the movie for audiences who are seeing the film. So
yeah,
I think it's great.
It was awesome. For somebody who has seen a lot of Terminator movies, it's like the Terminator timeline where this happened then, and then 2019, then we had this and this and this. So for Blade Runner 2049, Clarke, we got to see a little snippet into what's going on in 2036. How's the future look to you?
I mean, it looks good. I enjoyed the short. I'm not a huge Blade Runner fan, admittedly, but I have only seen the theatrical cut. So before the new movie comes out, I'll watch the director's cut. We should have movie party.
Final
We'll do
cut.
it. We'll do it.
Yeah,
Drama party.
final cut,
Yep.
whatever. But no, you're right. But I enjoyed the short. I think, when thinking about Covenant, like I know I said this on Nightmares and I've said it before and I still believe it. I believe that the stuff that we got from Covenant in the form of like shorts was cut scenes from the movie. I still don't believe that they were actual short films made for internet consumption. However, this felt like an actual short film that was actually, was intended to serve a purpose. And I think it's starting to serve that purpose. So I want to see the other two as well.
All right, so do I. I'm excited for Blade Runner, Schnepp. I know you're not a fan of mine right now, okay? But I want to see Blade Runner. I'm very excited to. Do you want to come to Clarke and I's viewing party? Or do you think the newbies should just watch it?
I will silently observe, and then we'll talk about it later. I don't want to chime in and ruin any experience.
It's gonna be like one of those interrogation rooms where like there's gonna be a mirror, and so we can't see who's
Two-way
watching
mirror.
us watch it on the other side.
All the sweaties who know what I'm talking about, I will have a Voight Conf set up for these people.
I have no idea what that is, but I will tell you this: I would love to do that for like Collider Video, have like the thing, like the commentary. But I don't really want to be on camera watching this movie for the first time. I don't want to have the pressure of talking into a mic, watching it. If we do that for The Room, fine, but not for Blade Runner. That's going to be a special experience that I'm going to order pizza for and get very, very excited about. The pizza. Maybe the movie's going to be good too. All right, speaking of movies, we have a new movie that's kind of an old movie that's coming out in theaters this weekend. What's up, Ash?
It's Close Encounters of the Third Kind. After an encounter with UFOs, a line worker feels undeniably drawn to an isolated area in the wilderness where something spectacular is about to happen.
This is such an exciting thing for me because according to our man Mark Riley, this is the 40th anniversary of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It's going to be in 4K. It's opening in over 800, I think, theaters this weekend. So it's just one of those science fiction experiences that is got some elements of fantasy to it, but this is sci-fi, and this is more of a realistic approach to if aliens came down. I don't know how humans would react to it, but this one guy who's going on this mission that he's hell-bent on, it's just such a great revisitation of a movie that I think a lot of people fell in love with, and it made them love science fiction, John.
Yeah, I love this film. I saw it when I was a little kid, and it holds up. I mean, I saw it like 2 years ago. There's multiple versions of the film. I was joking at the pre-production meeting earlier. Which version is it? Is the one with Dreyfuss inside the spaceship, which is the much-hated special edition. There's the regular edition, and then there's the director's cut, which is the third edition, which is what this final edition actually is. So I'm looking forward to seeing this on the big screen. It is a fantastic film. Don't sell yourselves short. See this movie the way it should be seen in the theater and experience why Steven Spielberg is one of the greatest directors still working.
Absolutely. Clarke Wolfe, you going to go check this out in theater?
Well, it's funny. So I'm working on creating and starting a podcast, and I've already done a handful of interviews, and one of them was with Scott Mantz about this movie. This and Blade Runner are his two favorite films.
Pretty sure he knew it was the 40th anniversary.
He knew. But that being said, I rewatched the movie in order to record this conversation with him, and it was a fascinating revisit, essentially, because I didn't grow up on this movie. I had seen it, of course, years back, but rewatching it, knowing where Steven Spielberg went and who he became, and sort of paying attention to the tone. I mean, it's not really a nice movie. I mean, it's a complicated movie, and it's a sad movie in a lot of ways. But to echo everybody at the panel so far, their point, I watched it at home, and I definitely think that to see it on the big screen with that amazing sound design, in addition to some of those incredible on-location shots that they got, I feel like it would be a really special experience.
Perri, I'm checking my email. I don't see anything on my schedule to do Clarke Wolfe podcast. You and I are going to go see a pretty cool Spielberg movie tonight, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. His success coming off of Jaws, this was the next picture. This is going to be a cool theater experience as well.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing this on the big screen. I definitely want to go, and I'm happy that they're using this time of year to re-release movies like this, because we just had Terminator 2 that came out?
Yep.
And this is the time when you do stuff like that, because if you look at the release calendar for this weekend, there aren't that many options. I'm sure some of the limited releases are good movies, but there's nothing that we're really that excited about right now. So seeing this coming out, that makes me happy to go to the theater this weekend. And I own the director's cut, and as many times as I've watched that, in the comfort of my own home or on my iPad, whatever. I've never seen it on the big screen, so I'm psyched to do it now.
1977, the 40th anniversary. Pretty good year for movies. You got your Star Wars, got your Close Encounters of the Third Kind. The Comedy Store in La Jolla was born 40 years ago. Some pretty good music, too. You had Rumors from Fleetwood Mac. You had landmark albums from the Sex Pistols and the Ramones. 1977 was a good year. Let's get that time machine rigged up and go back. All right, Ashley, let's move on to buy or sell. You're going to give us a premise. We're going to say whether we buy it or sell it, and then probably throw it back to you.
Yesterday saw many well wishes and nods to one of the most celebrated comic creators ever, Jack Kirby. On what would be his 100th birthday, Kevin Feige took to his Twitter account and wished him a happy birthday, while also saying that the MCU wouldn't exist without him. Also getting into the action was Ant-Man and the Wasp star Evangeline Lilly, who celebrated by tweeting out the very first look at her character in costume, saying, "I am honored to be on set today playing the Wasp, and what would be Jack Kirby's 100th birthday." Ant-Man and the Wasp also stars Paul Rudd, Michael Pena, and Michael Douglas. It is set for release on July 6, 2018. Schnepp, buy or sell the first look at Wasp in Ant-Man and the Wasp?
I buy it. It's very insectoid. It's a very thorax riddled, very broken up body style. It looks cool. And I especially buy Evangeline Lilly's comment about Jack Kirby. It's really cool. She's done a lot of really cool stuff. If you've never seen her amazing children's book, which was illustrated by a bunch of Weta artists, check it out. She's an awesome writer as well as actress.
It looks very functional. It looks like one of those things when you walk into like a Dick's Sporting Goods and you're like, man, I'm not going to look good in that. You know, that's like something that professional athletes or superheroes wear. It's got that mesh that's probably going to help you in some sort of, it probably is like dry wick fabric so you don't have a lot of armpit stains when you're fighting crime. Like, this is a suit for the modern superhero look, even though it might be a throwback to a previous generation of superhero. So, Perri, I'm all in on this. Is this something that you would consider being for Halloween?
Oh, yeah, why not? That looks like, yeah, I could probably rock that. I like this. I buy it. It's fine. I happen to have liked the look of the costume that was revealed at the end of Ant-Man a little better. There was like more gold to it and the colors popped and it looked a little unique, whereas this looks like, I mean, really, she could kind of be any hero in that. I mean, we don't have the helmet here, so I'm sure that's going to define it a little more when she puts it on. But this is perfectly fine. It's one image. I'm sure it's not lit in a way to highlight the costume right here. And the fact that she's in a very bland-looking school setting is probably contributing to the fact that I'm a little underwhelmed by it, but it's fine.
Yeah, the chalkboard in the back had some questions for me, too. Now, Clarke, you see this suit. Do you think that, like, maybe, Perri, this is a more of a starter suit or more of, like, we're not looking at the full glory of the costume, or is this what we're getting?
No, I think this is a training suit or a different kind of suit. But yeah, it's she looks so good. I buy it for sure. I'm really excited for Ant-Man and the Wasp. I was so pleasantly surprised by Ant-Man. I enjoyed that movie. I enjoyed it so much. So I can't wait to see her in action finally.
It is buys all across the table here. Now we throw it over to what some people have dubbed the haters corner. So it's a very nice looking picture. I don't see anything wrong with this. I don't see any reason why Ashley and Wendy would not want to buy this. What am I missing, Ashley?
I honestly would hate to go with our flow of being the haters corner and just be typical, but this suit is lame AF.
Oh, here we go.
It really is. Like, what is this? This looks like something you'd put on to go swimming in. Like, I would wear that going surfing. I don't see anything special about it. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
I know.
The haters corner is gonna have to break up.
Oh no!
I love it. I think what I like about this suit is that it very much reminds me of the Ant-Man suit, and they are a team. So that's what I like about it. It first threw me off a little bit because in the original she's black and yellow, and with the little thingies in the cartoon. So I kind of wanted to see that, and maybe when they're going through like a montage of trying on different outfits, trying to make a different suit for her, maybe they show that one just as a homage to the original. But I like it. I think it looks good. I want to see the helmet, though.
Yeah.
It's going to have the little
Maybe that'll do it.
Antennas.
I like that. Ashley came strong with some hate, and Wendy said, not in this house. All right, let's move on to Poor Gunther. What happened to him?
Saban Films has released the first trailer for Killing Gunther. Previously titled Why We're Killing Gunther, Taron Killam's directorial debut centers on a group of assassins that team up to take out the best in the biz, Gunther, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, with the trailer also revealing that the movie is a mockumentary, something a little different for the spy genre. The film also stars Kobe Smulders, Bobby Moynihan, and Alison Tolman. Killing Gunther does not currently have a release date. Clarke, buy or sell the first trailer for Killing Gunther?
Oh my God, I buy this so hard. This trailer made us all laugh like out loud multiple times while we were watching it. And Arnold is like funny. Like these little, I mean, granted, the editing probably has a lot to do with it, but Arnold was cracking me up, which I thought was really fun. I'm a big fan of Taron Killam. I think he is a really cool guy. I think he has a weird sense of humor, which I am totally into. And so this seems like the perfect vehicle for him as a director and an actor and a creator. So I am 100% on board.
It's a buy for me, too. Twins and Kindergarten Cop are pretty good comedies. Junior is also a movie that was released at one point, but this might be the finest comedic performance by Arnold Schwarzenegger. And you're right, in the hands of Taron Killam, who's somebody who, it's his directorial debut, but the guy knows comedy. I love hearing that some SNL members and alum are also rounding out this cast. I love the concept of this, Perri. It's got shades of a Grosse Pointe Blank feel to it, but then when you throw Arnold Schwarzenegger in there, and like Clarke said, he's coming to play with the comedy. I'm excited about this movie.
Huge buy. I was so pleasantly surprised by this trailer because I remember when they were calling it a different name. So when the email went out, I'm like, what is this thing? And then I watched it. I'm like, oh, I get it now. It's the Taron Killam movie. And it is so damn... Arnold's got range because you could look at it and see that in a movie like this. And then I'm thinking back with Maggie where he played, you know, like serious, really dark. And even though I didn't love that movie, I thought he was great in it. But I'm excited to see him having fun and doing crazy stuff like this. They are going to get away with so much more than if they had not gone with that mockumentary approach. Because normally I'd see a trailer like this and say to myself, you know, I'm having fun right now, but there's a chance this could go south when the film comes out. I think they're going to pull it off primarily because of the mockumentary style.
Yeah, it's more that style and that premise that I buy even more than Arnold Schwarzenegger, but he looks great in the movie. How about you, Schnepp?
Well, after Batman, Robin, and Conan the Destroyer, I thought, you know, could Arnold do another comedy that would make me laugh out loud and cry at the same time? Well, I wasn't crying. I was laughing out loud. I'm buying this. It was very, very funny, and it's like The Office with assassins. You know, I mean, I think it's a really smart idea, and the trailer it goes off stealthily. You know, it's like I couldn't stop laughing. We were laughing all the way through the credits. So do yourself a favor if you want to laugh. Killing Gunther. You know, I can't wait to watch this movie.
Do you guys think that this might be like the way that Schwarzenegger should go? I mean, we've seen like elder statesmen, veteran actors who we know for serious performances. I look at somebody like De Niro or even Pacino where they have a comedic turn and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I didn't know they had range like that. Right. Maybe this is where Schwarzenegger should go from here.
I think they should do whatever they want to do because when I watch a trailer like this, it looks like he's having fun. It looks like he wants to be there. It looks like he wants to play into that persona. So if that's what makes these guys happy, I say go for it because it's going to wind up being a better performance for that.
I think it makes sense, Clarke, because like I loved The Last Stand. I thought it was like a really fun action movie, and I felt like that this was Schwarzenegger again. But if I have the choice between something like this or something like another Terminator or even like him coming back in Predator in some role, I'm going to take this every time.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, it's sort of like used sparingly. So the idea of like, you know, little tastes here and there is all you need. And also in the hands of the right director and the right material. I think that is sort of the key here because I've seen a lot of Arnold's movies, and even the ones where he is being funny, I've never laughed like that before. And this is just a trailer.
I mean, you're right. You can't go back to the well too often, I guess.
Exactly.
And maybe De Niro could be accused of doing that with like all the Meet the Parents movies and stuff. But Schnepp, I just think Schwarzenegger, and I might have gone a little too far. I would like to see Dutch in some way in the new Predator, but I kind of like Schwarzenegger being a comic every so often.
Well, Clarke, now I want to actually see a sauce, Schwarzenegger sauce, used sparingly with just like you know, it's like I would totally use that occasionally on a sandwich, just like, oh my God, now it's perfect.
Good news, this thing has a release date.
Oh, really?
Comes out on Ultra VOD, whatever that is, on September 22nd, and in select theaters and on demand October 20th. Also, go Google the poster for this because that poster is badass.
Oh, damn. Okay. Killing Gunther coming to a screen of some size near you very soon. Today, we have a lot of cool stuff going on Collider Video. Like we said, you guys can check out that Blade Runner short that is an exclusive exclusive as of right now on Collider Video. We also have our daily content, not just movie talk. Right after us is going to be an all-new TV talk hosted by Joshua Hercules, fresh off his bachelor party in San Diego, Macuga. And then later on, we're going to have Daily Heroes. Speaking of that host, Jon Schnepp, we also have a new comic book shopping. That's going to be dropping tomorrow morning. There's a Team Schmodown dropping later on today. A lot of fun stuff. And as always, you guys can check out the Go90 app and get Jeremy Johns' weekly show, Awesome Tacular. You get new episodes every Friday, or for the latest episode, you can check out the link in this vid's description. Before we move on to Mailbag, I want to remind you guys at the end of this show, we're going to save some time for your live Twitter questions. Go ahead. Start tweeting us right now at Collider Video. Wendy Lee Zaney's the gatekeeper, and she was the nice one in the Haters Corner today. You guys can email us anytime as well, collidervideo@gmail.com. You can have them answered here on Movie Talk or on our weekend show Mailbag. So let's see what Ashley Mova feels like reading us today.
Andrew Hall writes, I recently watched Cabin in the Woods for the first time. I've noticed that I can't stop bringing up the movie in conversations when I'm with my friends because I thought it was so fantastic. The movie has stuck with me and I can't stop thinking about it. This also happened when I saw John Wick and 10 Cloverfield Lane. What movie have you seen recently that you just can't seem to stop thinking and talking about?
I got an easy one right off the top of my head, and it's one that I caught after Macuga's bachelor party on Sunday in my hangover coma. I saw Good Time on Jon Schnepp's recommendation. I didn't see the trailer. I had no idea what I was getting in for, and it's one of those movies. These are the movies that stick with me, are the ones that get into my soul, and they make me feel like I'm in that world, and I feel like really gross and dirty, and I'm trying to think, what would I be doing if I was in this situation? So Good Time is one. Is it Rachel Getting Married is another recent one where I felt like I was there at that wedding, and I was watching Anne Hathaway give that painful speech, and I wanted to just grab the mic from her and just be like, hey, it's gonna be okay, guys. We're all gonna take a 5-minute break, and I just couldn't do it. I felt like I was at an awkward wedding. And then there's another movie called not Maggie. Damn it. I'll look it up, and I'll go to Perri right now.
Okay.
Because she put Maggie in my head. So Perri, what's a movie that you think really gets under your skin in a good or a bad way?
Okay. First, this makes me really happy, and I just want to sit in front of it all day and pretend that I'm in that moment because I'm sick and twisted like that. I'm going to say it. We're not allowed to do a full review of it yet, but I'll tell you because you guys know that I really liked it on Twitter. There's a couple of images in particular that's stuck in my head. Ooh. Can't get them out. The one this year that I saw most recently, though, that has really stuck with me and I can't stop thinking about is Detroit. And it's actually kind of the same reason that you just brought up right now, where, you could watch a movie like that and it can be really well done, but it's one thing to sit there and think about what you might do in that situation or what you think they should do. But that movie achieves it on a different level where it made so much sense in my head that in that situation, they should do this and it'll be better. But then something happens in the movie and I'm like, that's not an option. And to have me understand something like that on that level, you don't really get that very often. And it's making me apply it in many different areas of my life. And I kind of like when a movie digs that deep.
Absolutely, yeah. The movie I was thinking of was Margaret, not Maggie. It was Margaret. Oh. And it's this movie where, Mark Ruffalo, I think he, runs over somebody in a bus. And I felt like I had run somebody over in a bus. The rest of the movie, I was asking myself, have I ever run over somebody in a bus? It turns out the answer is no, as of right now. Clarke, a movie that really got under your skin recently.
Yeah, so this is a movie called We Are the Flesh. It is a Mexican film, and this is a movie that was around the genre festival circuit last year. This movie is insane. It is crazy. People walked out. It was it is every taboo topic and thing that you can imagine in one movie. It has no real narrative, and there's a lot of ambiguity, in this movie. However, the thing that I will say is, for me at least, while I don't ever feel like I need to see We Are the Flesh again, the director showed that he had a vision, and there were some shots that he was able to get that I was just like, wow, I am so impressed. Now, yes, this is not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Some people are not going to be able to see past the taboo nature of what they're seeing on the screen, but I thought he demonstrated a true vision, and I want to see whatever he does next. So We Are the Flesh.
Jon Schnepp, you are a true vision to so many people across this great world of ours.
Why, thank you. I'm excited to get some water there. I'm excited to see We Are the Flesh. I saw the trailer for it, and I remember just the trailer was like, this is all Cronenberg style, weird.
Excuse my language, earmuffs, children. fucking crazy.
That's
This
a swear, guys.
I'm sorry,
That's
but
a-
like
I'm
there is
applauding your
no
swear.
other way for me to describe this movie.
Well, I am going to see that. Probably not today because I'm seeing Jurassic Park, but I'm going to see We Are the Flesh tomorrow. The movies for me, definitely Good Time was one that I, after seeing, I couldn't stop talking about it. And I like to not talk about the story or the plot or anything because I feel like don't even see the trailer. Just go see the movie. That's how I would recommend it. It's just that kind of important, kind of a newer style of filmmaking, which borrows heavily from a lot of different kinds of filmmaking that we've seen in the past, but in a fresh new way. Trip to Spain was another one that I couldn't stop laughing. Just thoroughly enjoyable. Just as good as the first one, a little bit better than the second one. So if you like people impersonating Michael Caine and doing Sean Connery bits throughout the entire thing, both mimicking each other and hating each other, it's so good. Bryden and Coogan, that's just, you got to see it. Trip to Spain. And Dunkirk. I found myself emotionally moved and shockingly surprised. A lot of people had given it bad reviews, and I waited quite a while to see it. And I think it's a masterpiece. I think it's one of Nolan's greatest films. It's a meditation about the courage of humanity and what people do when they're put in a horrible situation. It's not a lot of dialogue, but just filmically, it's the work of an auteur. And I felt like the way it's broken up into different segments, the Tom Hardy sequences, seeing it in IMAX as well, I highly recommend that. I felt like I was there. It's a moving film. So that's those three films for me recently.
Yeah, I would second your notion on Dunkirk. And there's a movie that I got to check out. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about this. Maybe you know better than I do. There's a movie called Lucky coming out, starring Harry Dean Stanton.
Yeah.
We
posted a review.
Okay, good. Then I can talk about it because this movie, I was tired when I went into the screening room. And I'm like, oh, it's a really slow movie. I could not stop thinking about this movie. I don't think it's necessarily for everybody, but if you just allow the world to wash over you, it can really have an emotional impact on you. And seeing somebody that is that age pull off not only a performance like that, but some of the places that emotionally Lucky gets to watching it, it's a little bit for me like looking into the Ghost of Christmas Future, I think for a lot of people, but it's a really moving movie. So if Lucky is playing in an area near you, I highly recommend checking it out. I think it could be talked about come Oscar time. So, all right, let's move on to live Twitter questions. We're about to hear from you guys live. Wendy Lee, Zany, do you got some good ones for us?
I believe so. This first one comes from TJ Dux, who writes, did you guys get a chance to check out the trailer/teaser for Super Troopers 2, and what are your thoughts?
I'm going to be honest, I did not, but I love this question. I hope somebody here on the panel has seen the Super Troopers 2 trailer.
Yes.
Jon Schnepp, going to you first.
Yes, it looks really funny. I love the original Super Troopers. What's up, Kevin Heffernan, West Haven, Connecticut?
Your boy, yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the entire film.
It's such a long time coming for Super Troopers, but I hope that it feels like they did it right, because this movie, the first one, is so beloved by so many people, multiple generations of fans for Super Troopers. So hopefully Super Troopers 2, the trailer, have you guys gotten a chance to check it out?
I have not. I've seen Super Troopers once, so maybe I need to revisit it, and then I might want to watch that next trailer. I'll give it a
Maybe
shot.
it's something we get a chance to talk about tomorrow. All right, what's our next question?
This one comes from Scooby-Dooby-Doo, who writes, what is your favorite non-Disney animated movie minus A Scanner Darkly?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Non-what?
Disney.
Animated.
Anything Leica?
Oh.
That would be my pick.
Stop motion animated?
Yeah, like
I'd
Kubo, Box Trolls. I think Box Trolls is still my favorite from them.
I'd say Heavy Metal, Ralph, not Ralph, is it? Yeah, Fritz the Cat. I was going to say Ralph the Cat. Who's that? Ralph the Cat, the sequel. Fritz's weird brother. Yeah, Fritz the Cat is a definitely one you want to check out. Let's see.
I'll throw a little guy named Shrek in there. I love those Shrek movies. You kidding me? Eddie Murphy, Mike Myers,
I'm going to
Cameron
go
Diaz. Come on.
South Park, bigger, longer,
Yeah.
and uncut.
Great
Love
play.
It's actually just such a great movie.
And in that vein, I guess these are actually puppets, but I'll throw Team America in there a little bit too. Yeah, but non-animated. Wendy, do you have any good ones? I know you're a big animated fan.
Oh, all the Miyazakis, Spirited Away, My Neighbor Totoro, Nausicaa, The Windy Valley is my favorite.
Let me throw in Paprika as well. Satoshi.
Which I learned
song.
is
Yeah.
a movie and not just a spice.
That's right. Clark thought I was screwing with her.
I did.
I was being dead serious.
Sometimes Jon Schnepp just says words and
Scrimble scram.
exactly.
Jon Schnepp is the best one here at coining new phrases. Ashley, you have a wry smile on your face as though you have an animated non-Disney movie.
I do. I'm surprised, Wendy, you didn't say Despicable Me because
I love the Minions.
Oh, the Minions.
The Minions are great, and the Minions standalone movie. It wasn't the greatest movie I've ever seen, but at the end, one of them can certainly shred a mean guitar. All right, let's move on to, let's do a few more.
Okay, this one is from Joel, who writes, was there ever a sleeper title that you saw on rental and wish you had seen it in theaters?
A sleeper title that I saw on rental, wish I had seen in theaters. There's a ton of movies that I just waited for. I mean, the all-time one for me is I went to the Williamsburg, Virginia video update week after week after week because I missed Bram Stoker's Dracula. I was too young to go see it, and I just kept going because Video Update and I, we had a little arrangement. I could rent rated R movies unless it was Basic Instinct. That's the one that they made my dad come in and approve. And then I got to go home and watch it. But Dracula, man, I kept going day after day, week after week. I didn't get to see that movie for a full year after it had come out in the theaters because it wasn't Blockbuster Video. Right. We didn't have all we guarantee that your new release is going to be in. You had to go there and you had to hope somebody just returned it or else that thing was flying off the shelf. So I had to watch a lot of Leprechauns and Dr. Giggles before I finally got to Bram Stoker's Dracula. That's the all-time one for me.
Dr. Giggles.
Dr. Giggles, yeah. He was like a mean dentist or something like that. I don't know. Perri, what do you got?
Don't say it. Now I'm afraid. I hate the dentist. I would probably go with Bone Tomahawk. I saw that a couple months after it came out, and that's the kind of thing where I would have liked to see those landscapes up on the big screen. It's still great on a small screen, but I would have liked to have seen it that way. And even though this is kind of silly because I've seen this movie on the big screen many, many times. Remember when it had that 3D re-release?
I'm with you.
And I missed it. I couldn't go to any.
See it either.
I think that might have been when I was shooting Child Eater, and I was heartbroken that I didn't get to experience it that way.
Which movie?
Jurassic Park. 3D re-release of Jurassic Park.
Okay. I didn't even know they re-released it in 3D.
In 3D.
You know what wasn't in 3D? The Rover, and I saw that. I rented that, and it's a great film.
You're a big Bob Pattinson guy.
Yeah, Bob Pattinson is. I mean, that was the first film that I saw that he had performed in. I'd never seen any of the Twilight films, so I was like, "Who is?" Yeah, I heard this guy's good, and he's really good.
Yeah, it's a damn good performance and a pretty good movie. Clarke, how about you?
I recently, in the last couple of years, got to see Ridley Scott's Legend on the big screen, and I love that movie, and I also love how it's practical, like all of these, all the effects, the forest, the landscapes, the makeups. Like, I mean, I love 80s fantasy. So, but seeing it on the big screen was amazing.
Meg.
Who's laughing?
Adam Smith approved. You know, the first movie that after I moved out here that I hadn't seen that most people had seen was Legend, and it was because Adam Smith was like, "You have to watch this now."
Legend
and first
is
when I moved here,
really great, weird movie, and they do not make movies like that anymore. So seeing it on the big screen is like a rare occasion.
They have a giant life-size Meg at Creature Features here in Burbank. You should go check it out.
Fun fact about our brilliant engineer, Adam Smith. Every day after he's done working here at Collider, he goes home, he puts on Legend, and he turns up Mastodon to 11, and he just rocks out.
Tangerine Dream, man.
Yeah, he's pretty amazing,
Brian
dude.
Ferry.
There's one more movie that came to mind that it's probably going to disappoint a lot of people. I didn't see this movie in the theater because I consider this my favorite. I think it's my favorite superhero movie of all time, and it was right before Christian and I started Schmoes, and I wasn't seeing movies in theaters a lot. Batman Begins. I did not see that in the theater. I Netflixed it, and when it came, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm interested. Hopefully I heard some good things. I put it in. I'm like, Batman's back. We're so done with bat nipples and badass. This is what we want. And I just, in retrospect, I'm like, I love Batman. He's like my favorite comic book character. Maybe that was Batman and Robin just having such a bad taste in my mouth that I couldn't Listerine it out and pay to see the movie again. And then I checked it out, and man, that movie is just so good, and I think it holds up very well today. All right, let's do one more Twitter question, and we'll call it a day.
Okay, this final one comes from Chris, who writes, you talk about game-based movies, but not movie-based games. So my question is, which movie would you like to see a video game of?
Oh, man. I mean, there was a pretty good era there for a while with, like, when I was a kid playing, like, your Super Nintendos and your Sega Genesis, where Jurassic Park actually had a really good Sega Genesis game.
Did you see the new trailer for the new Jurassic Park game, the Jurassic World game, where you could build a park? I'm so excited
So
for that
it's
game.
Dino Park
And
Tycoon?
I'm so pissed because it's on Xbox, and I purposely bought a PS4 so I could play Battlefront. And now I have to go buy a whole nother system.
I don't want to build a park. Are you kidding me?
I wanna build a park.
The most boring part about Jurassic Park is building the park. Like, I don't
is
want
this not
to.
Dino
How much
Park
lumber
Tycoon?
do I need to
Right.
get the
build a
T-Rex
park-
out of here?
You build a park, and then the animals break out.
Oh, good. So my work is ruined.
Dino Park Tycoon.
I don't know what that game is.
I just want to fight dinosaurs. That's all I want. I don't want
Yeah,
to.
I don't want to build anything. That's for people Sims. Like, how much is my rent? Get out of here. I'm blowing a building up, yo. I'm not building it. Fuck that.
That's all I'm doing. I mean, like movies from video games have not had a whole lot of success. Hopefully that trend continues to improve. But I think that if there was a video game based on a movie that I really want to play, the Indiana Jones ones are maybe my all-time favorite. The Lego Indiana Jones ones.
Jack
those are
Burton,
pretty
Big
great.
Trouble in Little China. That could be an entire, just a Jack Burton. I would play They Live as a game. I would like to see that. Like, you'd have to put on the glasses. Just imagine that. I would like, there's so many movies that could be translated in games. In fact, Blade Runner is going to be a VR game coming out where you can be flying around in a spinner this Christmas. So can't wait for that.
That's very sweet as well. Yeah, any of those like early 90s action movies, like Point Break, should have been a video game. You get to surf, get to skydive, you get to
Totally.
rob banks, you get to,
Build banks, right? For Perry, you got to build things, right?
You get to run. There's like a secret level where you have to go get Gary Busey 2 meatball subs in under a minute. Like, there's a lot of fun that could be had with a Point Break video game. Any other suggestions over there from the news desk / haters corner? The best movie that you should have turned into a video game.
Ooh.
Well, go for it.
Oh, I was gonna go completely outside of the box because like when I think video game, I think like first-person shooter. But I was like, what if we had like a Mean Girls game?
Oh, that's
I don't know really how that would work, but that would just like choose your character and
You have
go
to
through
dress
your
them,
day.
and then you decide if they can sit with us.
So lame.
So lame. But on the topic of my favorite movies, I would love Saw as a video game because it kind of reminds me of, I don't know if you guys have played, I used to play this when I was younger, and it would really scare me, Clock Tower, and this person would chase you with a knife, and you could be like Jigsaw setting up all these traps for different people and kill them different ways.
Dude, if you could have Saw be a VR game and
was
get
more of it.
Makuga around
That's
that.
actually a really good idea. There's a game called Limbo that's like a puzzle game, and it's all black and white. And
That game is frustrating
I
as hell.
love Limbo.
I got it all the way to like the little spider thing. And I was like, what's happening?
But I want more puzzle games, and so if you had to solve a puzzle and like Saw
To not die?
and to not die,
Yeah.
that would be an
Oh, this is
amazing game.
But I would want to see Ashley's weird, creepy, smiling face. Like what she was like, that would be a lot of fun. It's like, just gave me a nightmare. Like,
I also have
literally.
to throw in their Face Off. I want a Face Off game. Could you
Yeah.
imagine if you got to be Castor Troy or Sean
That'd be amazing.
Archer? Oh my god!
take your face off.
I just want to be the doctor. Like, I just want to be the doctor that's the like carefully scalped all the face. It'd be like that game Operation.
And then get
except
set
in
on fire.
Video game. Oh yeah, that's right. the
You don't
doctor.
want to be the doctor.
Done end well too well for the doctor in that one. All right. Well, there's a lot of fans in here that are commenting in our chat room, as we hope you guys continue to do, even when we're broadcasting at 7 a.m. PST. A lot of people are saying Labyrinth. Labyrinth would have been a pretty sweet video. Legend probably would have been a damn good video game too. We'll get Adam Smith to work on that one. I want to thank everybody, including Adam and Dennis and Cobster and Cody behind the scenes helping us out here today, as well as everybody up here at the table with me, Mr. Jon Schnepp. When you're not watching Jurassic Park 2 night at ArcLight, where can the kids find you?
Working on the Legend video game. I'm building Darkness and his ability to crush the unicorn's skulls. Anyway, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. Bye.
I don't know what I want to see more. Ashley play the Saw game or watch Jon Schnepp crush unicorns in a Legend game.
They're so beautiful.
Tough call there. Okay, Perri Nemiroff, where can we find you?
You guys can find me buying an Xbox and on Twitter and Instagram at PNemroff. Looking forward to seeing some of you tonight. And then don't forget, Collider behind the scenes and bloopers every Saturday, 2 p.m. PST.
Absolutely. Classy Clarke Wolfe.
You can find me at Clarke Wolfe, Clarke with an E, Wolf with an E, and you can find my It reaction on the Stardust app, so you probably want to download it.
I can't wait to have my reaction when I see the movie. Ashley Mova, where can everybody check you out when you're not daydreaming about serial killers in video games?
Well, apparently a Saw video game already exists, so you guys can find me playing that on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Ashley Mova. Happy Tuesday, guys.
Happy Tuesday indeed. And last but certainly not least, Wendy Lee Zaney.
You can find me at Wendy Lee Zaney on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And also, Perri, the game that you like is also on PS4, says Cody Hall.
Oh, really? Okay. I'm set then.
Finally, Cody Hall has use around here. I am merely Mark Ellis. Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys can get tickets to upcoming comedy shows, markellislive.com. I'll be at the Mirage in Las Vegas this Sunday. Come hang with us and then give me some tips on waking up early the following week. We'll see you guys right here tomorrow at our normal time for Collider Movie Talk. Bye.
Hey guys, if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll help you stay up to date with everything we've got going on here at Collider.